I'm Ashley Watson and I'm down at the bike shed today to talk to you about my custom W650. The idea of this build was to create a bike that ties in with my passion for motorcycle travel. When I'm designing motorcycle clothing, I like to test the product on the road, which means doing some big trips, which inevitably means doing some motorway miles. So I wanted to be able to handle that, be comfortable at crunching some miles, but then when you get to wherever you want to go, you can also, start following some off-road tracks and just having a lot of fun. So I wanted to be able to do both, and that was the sort of the overall brief of the bike. Styling-wise, the way it looks, personally, I really like classic motorcycle, classic scrambler look. A Kawasaki W650 is a donor bike. It's got an amazing air-cooled twin. It looks great. It's proven again and again and again. It's a really solid engine. As a stock bike, it comes with spokes wheels, so that looks good. Purists will probably say that they don't like the disc brake at the front, but I quite like to stop when I want to stop, so that's fine by me. The subframe was chopped, so it was chopped here, and we changed the box tube for a tubular piece, and then raised the centre of the bike about 1.5 inches. And that's really because I'm 6'4", and I want to be able to ride on the motorway for a good few hours at a time and not get cramp and be uncomfortable. So that was really designed around my body, my size. From front to back, I guess the bike was really been finding parts and lots of different parts. This headlight was Maven, the guys that built this bike, a guy called Owen had one of these. I tried to buy one off him, but he wouldn't sell me his, but we looked on eBay really quickly and managed to find one, which is so lucky because he hadn't seen one. He found his years ago, he hadn't found it, so we managed to get that quite quickly without too much problems. So all the parts to make this bike up have really been found just all over the place. So I think this Speedo is off a 30s Morgan. It's like a beautiful dial, Cooper Stewart, made in London. The drive there's a lot of work connecting it to the front wheel, so it does work. It's about 5 miles an hour out, but it's fast, so I know that, and it doesn't really go much faster than 60. So above 60, I'm not actually sure how fast I go. I'm not sure if I should admit that or not, but the handlebars these are actually the second pair that I went through. On that month trip, I ended it by coming off-road and bent the bars, and they were kind of out of shape. So we changed them over for a more scrambler style. It didn't have the crossbar beforehand, but it has that now, and that's a solid bar there, so it's not even tubular. So they're really strong handlebars, which is good. Like the Speedo, the tank's another found part. We picked this up on eBay, but it's definitely a Triumph T1 140, 160. Maybe a Thunderbird. If anyone knows, I'd be really interested. It's definitely got a bit more of a slightly different line to the standard teardrop Triumph Bonneville tanks. The map's quite an important part for me on this bike, and really I go for a map over a sat nav just because there's more chance of getting lost really, but also your sort of awareness of where you are in conjunction or within the places you're travelling through is just far greater, so you can kind of take a track to the left and kind of get an idea of where you might be or what might be good around you at any one time. So that's a sort of key part to me. I guess moving back, these are off a MT500, which is a military bike, which not surprisingly fits like perfectly a jerry can. And this is what sort of I put my panniers in, and I've actually got one to show you. I started developing these for a trip, and that just fits in perfectly there. And now these have had a lot of attention at the shows that I've been at, and so they're going to be coming out for next year, but they fit in there really snugly. So if you ever wonder where this shape's from, thank the British military. It's a rack that sits here, so when the bike's fully loaded, you can get 2 panniers and a big bag on the top here, and that's okay. It's never been a too problem with sort of overloading the back, so the weight's always been all right on the front, so it's never been such a problem that the front gets too light when I'm riding, so that's kind of quite nicely balanced. The tyres, I was running MT43, the Pirelli Trials tyres, which were great fun off-road, but reality is when you're doing miles, I had a few hairy moments. They weren't that comfortable when you're doing real, a couple of days in the saddle on a motorway. So I had plans, am planning to go over to Eastern Europe, and so I kind of wanted something that could handle the motorways a bit more, so I've changed them over to these Dunlop K70s, which has made a difference, to be honest, so that's good. Mechanically, it's as I said, this engine's bulletproof really. The only thing that's gone wrong with it, a little bit of stuck floats in the carbs, but that's, you know, I think par for course when you've got one of these sorts of engines. And it's been good for me because I've learned a huge amount about engines through this bike because it is so simple. The seat, I'm onto my second seat now. I'd probably put a little bit more foam in it this time. Maybe lose the look a little bit, but it's much more comfortable. It's got a gel pad in it as well, which is pretty luxury now. So that's a bit more comfy on the long runs. Something I shouldn't forget is it's got a sump guard, which was hand built by Owen, and that's the amount of times I've heard stones flicking off that when I'm following tracks has been, you know, countless. So that's probably saved me a fair bit of grief. And the reason why it's totally covered in mud and muck, and why the whole bike is covered in muck, is because last week I had it at the Sunday Scramble. So that kind of, I think that for me, that really proved that original brief idea of something that you could use for long journeys and then have a lot of fun with really has worked, because it really didn't miss a beat, and I was throwing it around a fair bit, and it was just brilliant fun. Final points, that the silencers, we tried a few aftermarket parts, but they just didn't look right. So Owen had an idea. There's a catering company near his workshop, and they have these parts to make all the tubing to go into dairy farms or whatever. And so we picked up a couple of cones. So these are stainless steel, and we chopped these are the same parts, and then we just chopped the end off here and we put a baffle inside it. So we handmade those, and Owen was finishing the wiring, I was polishing those, and that was the night before I went away on my month-long trip around Europe. So it was all a bit last minute, but we managed to do it. The mudguards are both front and back are steel. They're just a lot of, as this bike is, they were just lying around in Owen's workshop, and they fitted really nicely. So we just went with them. He put a lip on the edge. Lovely brass light. Again, one of his mates was wanting to get rid of it, so we kind of picked it up, and it just kind of looked right on the bike, so we went for it. And I think that's kind of it really. So I think probably the only thing left is just to start it up so you get to hear how it sounds.